Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be Lost Media Category 184, The Aristocrats 2, Disney Canceled Animated Film 2008. So I would like to say thank you to Sam McFarlane for suggesting this video to me. Once again, thank you to Sam McFarlane for suggesting another Lost Media video for me to do. I really appreciate that, Sam. You already know that I'm going to shout you out in the video and I'm going to tag you in it. So once again, thank you, Sam, for suggesting this video to me. And you already know the deal. If you ever have any other suggestions, just please post a comment on one of my videos and I will respond back. I don't know when the suggestions may come out, but if they're good enough, they might come out really early, but we'll see. Also, this is actually the first Lost Media video that I have done in a really long time that is not actually from the Lost Media Wiki. Now, from the intro, you probably couldn't tell that it wasn't from the Lost Media Wiki. Some people may think it is, and it is not. I actually had to go to fandom.com and the Disney Wiki to get this information because I was not able to find the Aristocrats 2 on the Lost Media Wiki, so it may not be that popular of a Lost Media, but I'm doing the video anyway because Sam McFarlane suggested it to me and I thought it was a good idea. So this would be the third video to not come from the Lost Media Wiki. The other two videos were suggestions by Platinum JM, aka Kidback 1988. Thank you to that guy for giving me those suggestions for those videos and giving me the information for those videos. I appreciate that guy for giving me those Lost Media suggestions and me doing those Lost Media videos. So thank you to Platinum JM, aka Kidback 1988. But anyways, let's get into this Lost Media. So, The Aristocrats 2 is a canceled animated film that had been a sequel to the 1970 Disney film The Aristocrats, and it was scheduled to be released in 2008. Todd Carter recalled the making of the film. Well, the story of these films is a little convoluted, and I'll do my best to keep the facts straight. I was asked by director Jim Camerood of Hot Donut, formerly of Character Builders, to help with boarding on The Aristocrats 2. This film went through multiple scripts and different incarnations and probably didn't really have any clear vision in the beginning. Our goal was to create that vision and tell a solid story, with the exception of retaining the main characters. We were given a good deal of freedom to create original stories similar to The Fox and the Hound 2. We were given a script to work with, but unfortunately a good deal of time and money had already been spent on the previous versions before we got the job, and the producers at Disney were getting a little antsy to get the film rolling and put something on screen. We felt the script still needed some work, but the schedule was going to afford us the opportunity to rework the current version and still deliver the film on time and on budget. So a unique plan was hatched by Jim Cameron to deliver the first rough story real quickly and thus allow us some time at the end of the schedule to rewrite and fine-tune the story a good deal. The proposed time frame was 4 weeks. When I heard suggestion, I said, okay, great, 4 weeks is tight, but I think we can get the first act done. Jim said no, 4 weeks to do all 3 acts. I honestly didn't think it could be done. I wish I could remember how many board artists we had, but it wasn't that many, possibly 5 or 6. This was a Herculean task, and can tell you that I don't think it had ever been done for a film that scale. It would take a unique approach, so we devised a method where I'm not sure if everyone drew the same, which essentially do a large thumbnail board drawings instead of a full-size board. We created board panels on 7.5x 4.5 paper with 4.5x 2.5 inset frames. Our drawings would fit inside the smaller window area, and the dialogue and the camera direction would be written below. The paper was at the size that was easy to handle and stack while still allowing us to draw at a small scale. Obviously, with such small window to draw in, we couldn't do detailed or elaborate drawings. We have to limit the drawings to clear, essential information at the time. I was convinced the results would be less than acceptable, but I was surprised when I viewed our first story reel. The weakness in our story were apparent, but the overall quality of the reel was really quite good. In the end, I think we pulled it off in the 5 weeks, which was remarkable. To make a long story short, the Aristocrats 2 was eventually shelved because there was a skepticism by the executives that it would find significant audience in ever more competitive market. It's one of those disappointing things that happened in the film business from time to time, but it may have been a wise call. The good news was that we had pulled off our little experiment and succeeded in delivering a quality reel in record time. The bad news was that we had an established precedent of what could have been accomplished in the time frame, and the producers and budgeters at Disney had taken notice. To make the Aristocrats 2, we tried to distill the essence of the original film. In the first film, the kitten's nemesis was misguided butler intent on stealing their fortune. The sequel created a similar dynamic by pitting them against a jewel thief on the open seas aboard a luxury cruise ship. The flavor of the film was sort of a mystery, farce, comedy. There was also a young kitty love interest for Marie, who would become the focal character of the film by singling out one of the character for the central story arc. We could have done a better job at strengthening the elements of the film. Sometimes when you have an assembled cast, things can really get watered down because you don't have enough time to spend with each character. We tried to avoid pitfall. The original film takes place in Paris, but we didn't feel that exploited the setting to its fullest potential. We wanted to adopt a European flair by filling our ship with a cast from the places like France, Scotland, England, Spain, etc., thus creating a rich environment in both scenery and character in the era of the early 1900s. Our main objective, besides the mystery element, was to make it completely fun. We worked to hard up the action scenes and create a new level of energy. I really think this film was headed in the right direction. With another pass, we could have gotten in the right, but there are other important considerations in making films of any kind. Making sure you have an audience for your movie is paramount. Disney just felt the Aristocrats 2 was in jeopardy of failing through the cracks and incumbent market. Another interesting side note, by the way, originally this movie was slated to traditionally be 2D animated like the original. I personally am not a big fan of converting characters from 2D, mainly because there is an importance in designing for your target medium. Going this route would have lost a good deal of softness, which was essential to these characters' charm. But since it was ultimately shelved, the world will never know for sure. Yes, exactly. Sort of a murder on the Oriental Express without a murder. Trivia. Marie was to be voiced by Tara Strong. Berlitzo to be voiced by Nikita Futterman. And Talise would have been voiced by Cree Summer. Oh, they got some good actors for the movie. I think Tara Strong and Cree Summer are really good voice actors, especially for animated characters. The clumsy captain would have been voiced by the late George Carlin. Okay, another great animated character, voice actor, also a great comedian as well, who voiced in Zoogar and Tarzan 2 and Fillmore and Disney/Pixar Cars. One of the clumsy captain's henchmen would have been voiced by the late Joe Astley. A teenage kid named Marcello, who was supposed to be Marie's love interest, was supposed to be voiced by Rob Paulson. Okay, another great animated voice actor. They got a lot of great animated voice actors for this movie. Edgar wouldn't have appeared in the sequel, but presumably because he was still in the Tubukudu. I don't know how to say that. Sorry, I butchered that. Napoleon and Lafayette, Abigail and Emelina Gable and Scat the Cat and the Alley Cats would have all been absent from this sequel. Animaniac. It appears the dialogue for the film had been recorded. Several Animaniacs for the film are known to exist, one of which shows the film that would have been set around Christmas time. Judging by the Animaniac, Marie would have sometime provided narration telling the audience that the knight is at the captain's bar and thinks that the unspecified male shall be there. With the Countess and the felines arriving, one of the other guests admires the Countess Diamond before her allergies act up to the felines and suggests they sit at the animal table where seemingly a gluttonous canine is sitting. The canine seems welcoming and offers them food, but the scent of food appears to be giving O'Malley sickness. The clumsy captain then arrives and welcomes to the Sardina, the ship on which the film is set on. The animatic can be seen here. More storyboards were uploaded to an online portfolio of Dan Root, which features a sequence between Berlitzo and Talise as they search about the ship, coming across a Scottish passenger sneaking into a lifeboat. Upon investigation, it turns out the passenger having a romantic drink with a lady passenger, but the date is disrupted by Berlitzo and Talise, resulting in the Scottish passenger whacked by an oar by a lady passenger as Berlitzo and Talise escape. Among other Animaniacs, including a constitution of dinner scene which features Marie reminding Thomas O'Malley about what the numerous folks are used for. As O'Malley scratches himself with one, the dog suggests just digging into the food, but all cats are distracted by the Christmas sweater he's wearing, which the dog gets defensive about. Marcello arrives and introduces himself to the rest of the family as Marie tries flirting with him. Much to O'Malley's disapproval, anchovies are served up, leading the dog to excuse himself due to them making him feel sick. Marie would have been cornered by some street cats before Marcello would have come in and chased the cats. It turns out that the true thief was the captain, using Marcello as his means to steal the items, which leaves Marie heartbroken. Marcel reveals that the captain intended to turn Marie's family into scapegoats, and Marie insists they need to go back, but Marcello is reluctant, which leads to Marie calling him out for his selfishness. Another Animaniac, Marie and Thomas O'Malley sneak into the captain's quarters where all the jewelry is being held and grab a necklace, leading the captain to chase. While the captain chases them, Baruzzo and Talese rush onto the bridge to send an SOS to alert the authorities. The captain chased Marie and O'Malley up the lookout point, and just as it looks like he's going to toss them overboard, Marcel returns and uses his claws to cut off the rope the captain is using to keep balance, leading him to fall into a pile of life rings, with the other passengers recovering their stolen jewelry and the captain being taken away by the authorities. After the dog character calls for a flock of seagulls to poop on the captain, Duchess and O'Malley wish each other a Merry Christmas. And then there's the gallery. There is a bunch of concept art for this movie, which I will show off in the video, and I will also link the article for this Lost Media Wiki video if you want to see more. There is a colored model sheet of Marie, Talese, and Baruzzo. There's a colored model sheet of Madame Adelaine Bonfamily, and a colored model sheet of Marcelo with Marie. Once again, I would like to thank Sam McFarlane for suggesting this video to me. Thank you so much, Sam, for suggesting this video to me. I really appreciate it. Once again, I would like to shout out Platinum JM, aka Kidback 1988, for suggesting me those Lost Media videos that I did a year ago. And that is Lost Media Category 184, The Aristocrats 2, Disney canceled animated film 2008. And if you guys like this video, please don't forget to please like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Period.